The Special Action Force is an elite unit and is modelled on the British SAS. They were called into action in November 2007 when a group of renegade Philippine soldiers attempted to overthrow the government. They were already on trial for a previous mutiny 4 years earlier, but broke out of court. And along with 300 heavily armed soldiers, barricaded themselves into a hotel and called for a change in government. In response, 1,500 troops surrounded the hotel. Leading them were officers from the Special Action Force. The mutineers were given a deadline to surrender as civilians were evacuated from the hotel. After the deadline passed, SAF soldiers prepared to storm the building. Gunshots were exchanged between the police and the rebel soldiers. Then an armoured personnel carrier was brought in, which first fired on and then stormed the hotel lobby. The mutineers were arrested without anyone being killed or injured. For the SAF, the mission was a success. Today, the latest batch of recruits are undergoing the commando course. Part of the training is called Hell Week, which does exactly what it says on the tin, including 2 30-kilometre runs a day in full kit. Specialist training involves close-quarter combat with a variety of weapons. Drill Sergeant Mark Ballesteros is putting the recruits through their paces.
So today you will learn about night fighting, Yes. And everything about its technique, to include the harness.
Harness is the term for the Filipino fighting arts.
Next is jumping attack. Ready, jump. Jump high, jump low. Rope jump, then spinner jump. Okay, ready?
Yes, it is the jabbing technique. It is that the enemy is not so close to you. You have to reach through the knife, just like that.
As well as knife fighting techniques, the commandos learn how to use more traditional weapons. They are taught the ancient martial art of stick fighting.
Students are already proficient in knife fighting and in stick fighting. But if you are asking about the mastery of the skill, it will take years.
Rookie Jackie Rance has 1 month left of the 6-month-long course. She joined up because she felt an inner urge to be part of the SAF.
It's a calling, and we think that this is our fate, so we are training hard for it to save ourselves and save the people. It's really fulfilling on my part because belonging in a man's world. Actually, even my daughter calls me Superwoman because I can be with the man. So it's really fulfilling for me, and I think also it's very fulfilling for them, for the other women.
Jackie and her fellow female recruits are hoping to join the 303 women officers currently serving in the SAF.
I could say that I'm a tough cop. Okay, we've just undergone a combat maneuver. We have been in the mountains for 7 days. No, we've been trying hard to climb the mountains, reach the target that have been assigned to us. And I think that's one of the evidences, the proof that all women here are tough.
Back at homicide, Detective Cosimero and his team have received a tip-off. One of the suspects in the double cop murder has been treated for gunshot wounds in a hospital just outside Manila. He might still be there, so they're not taking any chances.
Come on, let's go.
He should be vigilant and careful when we are approaching the vicinity of the reported clinic, since the reported suspect might have been confined in that clinic, and his companion may be also there.
They make a quiet arrival at the hospital.
Yung kung may dinala rito nung May 12.
May 12.
Shooting. May 12. Okay, basa mo nga kung meron dumating ditong nabaril sa hita. Ayun, oh. Nasaan to?
Puta, alas 9, pare.
Oo, positive to, pare.
The man they're after definitely checked in. But is he still there? A hospital manager delivers the news that they don't want to hear. He's no longer there. The trail appears to have gone cold.
He was treated there in that hospital, and after several hours he was discharged against the advice of the doctor.
But Cosimero is determined to catch the killers.
I like to meet them.
What would you say to them when you meet them?
I don't know what we will be talking about, but I'm sure I'm glad to see them. I'll be glad to see them.
The cops in Manila are facing a huge challenge. Not only are they fighting kidnapping and drug trafficking, but the threat of terrorism hangs heavy. Since the turn of the millennium, Islamic extremist groups have killed or injured more than 1,700 people in the Philippines. Separatist groups, including Abu Sayyaf, are demanding a separate Islamic state, independent of the mostly Catholic Philippines. In 2004, Abu Sayyaf was responsible for the bombing of a passenger ferry, in which 113 people were killed. Because the government of the Philippines has close links with the West, this has made it a target for anti-American aggression from these groups, which are linked to Al-Qaeda. This man has been at the forefront of Manila's fight against terrorism.
All you need is kick it, like that, eh?
Jojo de la Cruz is part of the SWAT team. He's a man who lives for the job, but is not afraid to die doing it.
I'd rather die in action than retire. I never wanted to retire. I'd rather be dead in that first burst of fire. I will be very happy or very, very proud to be there lying than retiring without doing anything for my career as being a SWAT personnel.
SWAT were involved in a bloody battle with Islamic terrorists at Camp Bayjon Jail in March 2005. Militant prisoners snatched weapons from guards. killing 3 of them in an attempt to escape. After a day-long siege, the police stormed the prison. 22 prisoners and 1 policeman were killed during the operation.
You use this one and this one.
In 2003, Jojo was part of a special task force. It was put together to catch the Philippines' most wanted terrorist. Indonesian Fatur Algozi had been responsible for one of the worst terror atrocities Manila had ever witnessed. In December 2000, 5 near simultaneous bomb attacks hit the city. 22 people were killed and 120 were injured. He was arrested in January 2002 and confessed to planning the bombings. But the following July, he escaped from prison and fled to the south of the country.
We were ordered by the president to hunt him down.
Jojo and 3 fellow operatives spent 2 months chasing shadows.
Unbelievable, like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Then, with the help of an informant, they were able to find their target.
Eventually, we were able to get Algozi. He was training young bombers in the south.
They provided the informant with a car, which was given to Algozi. Now Jojo almost had his man.
I installed a tracking device underneath. So we were monitoring that vehicle from the first day we give it to him to the last.
On the 12th of October 2003, Jojo's team were informed that Algozi was on the move. He was attempting to leave the Philippines. The team went to intercept his vehicle and flagged it down. The driver ignored the signal and a chase ensued. Jojo and his men blocked the vehicle and were met with 2 gun bursts. They returned fire.
He was given a burst of shot in the fatal mass of his body. When we saw him trying to get a hand grenade from his pocket, it was a clear encounter with Algozi, who was trying to evade arrest and at the same time trying to inflict damage or casualty to our ranks.
But the duties of the SWAT team are not confined to special ops. They have to carry out regular day-to-day duties just like normal cops. The motorcycle unit are a highly visible presence on the streets of Manila.
The people here are frightened if the SWAT are coming.
Are people scared of you?
Yeah.
Erwin Unay is one of the cops who regularly patrols Manila on his bike.
Since I was young, I always been to become a policeman.
Many crimes are carried out by felons on motorbikes. In just 3 months in 2008, the Philippines witnessed 424 crimes committed with the use of bikes. 150 of them involved shootings, including 50 murders. With only 10% of these two-wheeled incidents being solved, they need to be proactive and not reactive.
We are conducting a choke point here. We are looking for guns like 9mm,